Good morning, gamers. DreamcastGuy here. I got my hot coffee ready, and it's time to dig into some scalding gaming news, because today we have two very big topics to try and dissect. The God of War Ragnarok release date seems to have leaked, and additionally, they dropped some very impressive gameplay for Horizon Forbidden West that I kind of want to watch with you guys, because it really seems like Sony is juicing up to have a really incredible 2022. I also want to talk about a hate comment I got that I feel like raises some valid criticisms of the nature of PlayStation, but we're going to talk about that at the end of the video. Let's begin first and foremost with God of War Ragnarok. Now, this is a project that everybody seems to be incredibly interested in because the God of War 2018 was already such a mega hit. Not only did the game sell like hotcakes, it got huge critical reception. Everybody loved this game, even if previously they hated God of War. Like me, not really a God of War fan until this game came out. Well, Ragnarok is something everybody has been waiting ever since it was first revealed in 2020. Well, it looks like, according to this scraping, essentially it looks like it's coming out September 30th. Now, the way that this works, and I want to talk about some of the people who sort of doubt this, there is this Twitter account called PlayStation Game Size. Now, what this guy does is basically he goes into the code of the PlayStation Store and he looks at all the back-end data. It tells whenever there's demos being uploaded, whenever new games are being posted, and it can tell you just exactly how much you're going to have to install that next big release. It's an interesting idea. Well, currently, inside the PlayStation database, it says that Ragnarok is coming out September 30th, 2022. Now, even he himself says it could just be a placeholder, because occasionally games are listed, but it's not the real number. It's more of just like a hypothetical target release date. I personally believe that this is going to be September 30th. I believe that this is the 100% real release date, mostly because it's a very good space for it. Right now, like, PlayStation has really set up a packed year. Pretty much every 60 days for all of next year, we're going to be seeing things like Gran Turismo 7, freaking Horizon Forbidden West, which we're going to look at here in a second. There's also things like Ghostwire Tokyo, Final Fantasy 16, which is coming out later in the year. Like, pretty much back to back, Sony is trying to create a big environment where you're excited to have a PlayStation 5. So having this come in September, I feel like this is a very smart spot for it. Additionally, I decided to look it up. September 30th is a Friday. Now, here in America, almost all the video games come out on a Tuesday or a Friday. So this being a Friday release date, again, it seems pretty dang pleasable or feasible. So I think that this is legit. Now, additionally, the other part of this is the fact that I feel like having a September 30th release date really primes it so that if for some reason Sony wants to try and just double or boost the heck out of the sales of PlayStation consoles coming up on the next holiday, which would be, like Black Friday and Christmas of 2022, they can start to do some Kratos bundles, try and package together God of War Ragnarok, because at that point, it'll be 45 days after release. They can start to just slip it in with other games, or that'd be 60 days after release. It's a good chance for them to sell even more of the game, but also try and package together more hype for their systems. Now, I want to take a look at something that came out a couple days ago that is extremely impressive to me, which is this clip from Horizon Forbidden West. Now, it's only 26 seconds here, and you can see here I tweeted that it said, the more I see of Horizon Forbidden West, the more I believe it is going to be a big Game of the Year contender. Now, let me just boost this up here so you can actually see it for yourself. I am so incredibly impressed every single time I see this. The fact that she's able to grapple hook, hop off stuff, do this little glider ability. Like, additionally, look at the fact that this huge robot snake from hell has these glowing little diodes all over it. Like, the technological leap, both graphically and physics-wise, it seems like this is a completely different beast. Like, I am still just so blown away by the fact that, well, Sony is managing to make such a giant advancement in their own gameplay in a single generation. Like, Horizon Zero Dawn on the PlayStation 4 was already a very fun game. It's one of my very favorite PlayStation 4 games of all time. But the fact that Forbidden West seems like a huge advancement, a mega leap over its predecessors. I feel like, seriously, the more we see of this game, the more I think that this is going to be that game that's the summer hit. This does come out in February, so it's kind of crazy to think that this is just a couple weeks away, like in the grand scheme of things, but more than that, I have a feeling that this is going to be the new benchmark release. This is going to be that game that people point to as an example of PlayStation 5 done right. But speaking of Sony, I do want to talk about a mean comment I got a couple days ago because I think it's an interesting one. I'm not going to show it because I don't want the person to get dogpiled or anything, but they basically said, I feel like Sony is pushing back their own games to try and help PlayStation 5 sales. Now, it seems like what he was trying to convey is the fact that it does seem as if possibly these games are very, very complete. When you see clips of Horizon Forbidden West, or when you see people just showing off different tech demos for Gran Turismo 7, it does seem like these games are complete. It does seem like maybe they're trying to iron out some finalized glitches, but for the most part, it seems like Sony's major games for 2022 seem pretty much complete. They seem like they're ready to go, but this guy proposed the theory that they're delaying them to try and sell additional PlayStation 5s. Right now, the PS5 is still one of the rarest systems on the planet. Not for lack of trying. Sony seems to be making every single one they can, from the boards to the processors to the chips. Like, they're trying to make these things as quickly as possible. But as soon as a PlayStation 5 is built, it's bought, either by a bot or by a person. But I think that right now, Sony is in a position where they want their games to sell as much as possible. Obviously, right? I mean, straight up, if you actually look at the budgets of these games, a lot of times Sony is spending hundreds of millions of dollars. Like, let that sink in. Hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars to make sure that each of these games is the biggest, most badass masterpiece it can possibly be, which is great for the gamers because we get a chance to experience these games in all their glory, but it does mean that they want that money back. They want to make sure these games sell as much as possible. They want to make sure that people are lining up and pre-ordering it and getting the extended deluxe editions and stuff like that. If there's not enough PlayStation 5s, it could hurt these projects. It seems like maybe there is to some degree some truth to this, that maybe Sony wants to try and space out their releases, that way people have a chance to get a PlayStation 5. My thought, though, is that Horizon Forbidden West is still going to be on PlayStation 4 as well. Same with God of War Ragnarok. These games are going to objectively be better on the PlayStation 5, but this cross-gen ability, I do feel like they're still going to be profitable. They're still going to make their money back. I think that really Sony is in a weird predicament where these games are going to be huge hits. It seems like everything we've seen, these games are going to get critically loved. They're going to get pre-orders. They're going to get the numbers. It just comes down to the fact that how many of these people are going to convert over to PlayStation 5 users? That's the real question that I kind of hope we learn next year. But tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you believe this God of War Ragnarok release date, or do you think this is just a bunch of phooey? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. And additionally, if you already own a PlayStation 5, tell me your thoughts in the comments down below about all of this idea of possibly pushing back their own release dates so they can sell more games for the PlayStation 5. Thanks so much for watching, gamers. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a giant thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all, and keep dreaming. It is a good morning already. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.